guys, and welcome back. I want to give you, it's okay, some tips and tricks on bottle feeding that I have found over the years. I've noticed that there's not a lot of tips and tricks on this, and it's kind of a figure it out. It's kind of, people think it's obvious, and so I just wanted to give you some tips. So Bridget just had her 2-month vaccination, so she's a little crabby. She's also going up a nipple size, so she might spew out of her mouth. But you have a couple options. So if your baby is nursing and bottle fed, I recommend trying to put them on their side and feed with the bottle out here, because it will kind of mirror what you're doing with nursing. She is not nursed. So you want to get comfortable. So you can get a pillow and put it under your arm. And you kind of want them propped up. So with my twins, I would feed them in the boppy. That's really way too reclined for them. If you're in a pinch, fine. My husband does it all the time. But it's really a little reclined for them. So you want to think about, if you were on your back, would you want to be drinking water? Probably not. So I'm going to sit her up a little bit. And I'm going to hold her like this. So she's up a little bit and I have my arm rested comfortably. You have a couple choices and you can talk to your pediatrician. You can look out for hunger cues, or you can feed on a schedule. My twins were fed on a schedule. They never really had hunger cues. So it's not like I was missing feeding them. They just didn't really have hunger cues. I also like to have like a max that I will go. So during the day, like, okay, well, max would be like, I don't know, 4 hours. It depends upon how your baby's gaining weight, and you can talk to the pediatrician. But with Bridget, I go off of her hunger cues, and she usually eats like every 2 hours. So she'll start smacking her lips. She'll put her hand in her mouth and go like, try to eat her hand. And that's when I know she's hungry. So once they take the bottle, I have her kind of up. It doesn't matter what hand you hold the bottle in, whatever you're comfortable with. You want to make sure that the milk is all the way in the nipple, because you don't want them sucking in air. I usually listen. If she's making a smacking noise, I will take the bottle out and put it back in again to make sure she got a really good latch, because sometimes she doesn't. I have her kind of sitting up, and I'm kind of just following her head. The other thing I like to do is, she's getting like a flat spot because she favors the left side of her head. So I will try to next time feed her over here and just kind of switch the sides. This side's way more comfortable for me, so I tend to go to this side. But you can also have them follow you in this way, and then the pressure's on a different side of her head. Bottle feeding can be extremely bonding, just like nursing. You can have them look at you. You can be in a quiet environment, no stimulation if you want. You can talk to them, make eye contact. It can be very bonding, just as much as nursing, honestly. And I'm going to do a paced bottle feeding. So I am going to stop and burp her every ounce or 2 ounces. This is her first time using this nipple, so it's a little bit faster. I like to hold the burp cloth under her mouth to catch anything that comes out, or you can just kind of watch for it, but I like to kind of hold it under her mouth. Again, you can lay your baby on their side if they're a nursing baby and kind of recreate them nursing. I like to have her kind of half up, propped. The other hold that's nice, especially if they're preemie and struggling, is this. You would sit them up, support the back of their neck like this, and hold the bottle. That's even more of a paced feeding. That helps them even more. So if it's coming out too fast, this will help them kind of regulate that. Or if they're having trouble staying awake while you feed them when they're very young, this is another way to kind of sit them up and support their neck and have them eat that way. You just have to kind of play around with what's comfortable for you and your baby. I have her kind of lay back a little bit. Not a ton, just a little bit. And now it's dripping down her face. I hold the towel here. Like I said, this is a new nipple, so it's a little fast for her. So she's learning that she doesn't have to suck as hard. She takes her own breaks. She self-regulates. If you have a baby that doesn't, you're going to want to take it out of their mouth. If she stops eating because she falls asleep, I'll pull it out a tiny bit. I won't swirl it or anything crazy. I'll just pull it out and see if she sucks it back in and keeps going. So I will stop her and burp her. She sometimes doesn't like it. So what I will do is, there's a couple ways you can burp too. You can sit them on your lap like this and put your hand under their chin and hold their cheeks. You're not choking them, obviously. You're just holding their head here. You're leaning them forward and patting their back. You can hear that burp. She didn't like this when she was younger because it would simulate her reflex and her startle, and it would scare her. Some babies don't like this because they don't feel very supported. The other one is way up on your shoulder like this. This is the one I usually use, and patting the back. You don't want to pat so hard that you're hurting them, obviously, but it's not a little tap. You definitely want to pat them hard enough that you can kind of hear it, because you want to get that burp out. And if you're patting real light, you're not going to get it out. She already burped, so I'll put her back down and then continue. Most formula is good for 1 hour. You need to check your box or your can 1 hour after you make it. So I will check the clock when I made it, and if she stops for any reason, I'll check the clock and offer it again like 15 minutes before the hour's up to see if she wants the rest of it. Some doctors will say, no, that's where you end the feed. Some sleep people will say, no, they take what they're going to take and that's it, and you end it. I will offer it again within the hour, but that's just me. So the other question is, how do you know that you're giving them enough? So again, this is a really good question for your doctor, but I start, when she came home, she was on like 40 milliliters, so it's like 1.5 ounces. And then after talking to the doctor, we upped her to 2 ounces and then to 3. So now she's on 3.5, which remember, when you make it, it ends up being a little bit more. So she's on 3.5, 4 every like 2 hours. I tried to extend her to get her to only eat every 3 hours by giving her more, and she wouldn't eat it. So each baby is different. My twins ate every 3 hours. She eats every 2. But how you know is they should have a little bit left. So when they're done, if there's some left in the bottle and they won't take it, that's probably enough for their feeding. If they suck the whole bottle down, then you need to decide, do you think it was enough or do you think they need more? So usually what I do is, if, again, each feeding for her is different. So if she sucks the whole bottle down on one feeding, I'll burp her, give her a minute or 2 and see, is she still chewing her hands? Is she still giving me those hunger cues? Then I will make her an extra just a little ounce. If she sucks the whole bottle down and she's asleep, then I assume she's full and that's it. Babies are not shy about telling you if they're hungry or not. So you just kind of have to use your mama gut, read your baby, and do some trial and error. And if you're unsure, you can talk to your doctor. My doctor personally said babies her age, which is 2 months, eat anywhere from 3 ounces to 5 ounces every 2 to 3 to 4 hours. So again, it varies so much that it's hard. So you just have to get to know your baby and figure it out. She generally will eat the 3.5 ounces every 2 hours, and that's it. Every once in a while, she'll take an extra ounce. If your baby will take an extra ounce during any feeding during the day, give it to them, because they're probably getting their calories for overnight, and they'll probably sleep more at night because they'll have the calories. So yeah, so she was taking over an hour to eat a bottle, so I just upped her nipple. That's, again, how I know it was taking her forever to eat, that she needs a faster flow nipple. That's what I gauge off of. There's also like month recommendations on the nipples, so you can check that out, but I just knew she was on a preemie nipple for Dr. Brown, and I knew that she needed the higher flow because it was taking her forever to eat the bottle. So yeah, so she's just gonna finish this. Hopefully she'll figure out soon she doesn't have to work so hard with the new nipple. I'll burp her again. And yeah, if you have a more gassy baby, you can burp more often. If you have a less gassy baby, or you have a really good burper, you can burp less often. Again, play around with it. She'll get fidgety if she needs to burp, so I know that it's time to take it out and burp her. People are very nervous to bottle feed, that they're gonna not do it right. These are just little tips and tricks. Again, you don't have to follow them, but I hope it helps make it easier. Play around with it. If the formula is spewing out of their mouth or they sound like they're choking, try to change their position, make them more upright, or think about decreasing the flow of the nipple. Did you just increase it? Do they need more time to adjust to it? And if they're not burping, change their position and see if that helps them burp. You guys know what you're doing. You're great mamas and daddies. You can use your instincts and talk to your doctor, and you are great. So I hope you guys are having a great day, and I hope this helped you, and I'll see you in the next video.